that we have fixed the lecture on Thursday, but due to some unavoidable circumstances on the same Thursday again. So then I again requested sir that we want to have your lecture again today. So finally sir accepted my request and sir is came today to deliver the lecture. Regarding the introduction of sir doesn't need any introduction, but some of the faculty members are from Kanpur, Jhansi, Lucknow, and I want to share them brief about sir. Dr. Saibal sir is a professor in mechanical engineering. Sir has studied from this college only, so from B.Tech to mechanical, and sir has done PhD from IIT Roorkee. And sir is also an MBA evaluator and vast expertise in many areas of mechanical engineering, beside the expertise in outcome-based education. And I hope all of you will be learning something good from a very renowned administrator and principal of our college. So I welcome sir. Please start the sessions.
Dear participants, good afternoon. So, on behalf of Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, I welcome you all. As I was not a part of the regular session, so first of all, I appreciate that you became part of this Atal Faculty Development Program that is sponsored by DAY2. So this 6-day program is one of the very important programs because the mandate of these programs is to equip the faculty members of the various institutions with the latest topics. The topics may be technical, it may be non-technical. So regarding technical topics, there are so many opportunities to the faculty in various institutions, maybe online, offline. But this accreditation process, which is very important for all the institutions, maybe technical institutions, maybe non-technical institutions, even schools. So this accreditation process is most important in these days because the accreditation, you may be aware that it is a process of recognizing our processes. Our processes means when we talk about teaching, basically it is teaching learning process. So teaching learning process is to be recognized by some body. The body may be national body, it may be international body. So when some body recognizes your process, it carries a different weightage when you compare it with your peers. That's why this accreditation becomes so important in these days when there's a lot of competition lot of institutions are coming, lot of new institutions are being developed. So in this situation, your recognition is very important. So to prove your credibility, one should be recognized by some certifying body. So National Accreditation Board, National Board of Accreditation, which we call NBA, it is Indian body, although working under the guidelines of Abbott. Abbott, you understand, it is international body. In most of the countries, Abbott is recognizing these programs. So Abbott is as per Washington Accord. Washington Accord is a document where it is recognized that whosoever institution is recognized by Abbott, that degree will be valid all over the globe. All over the globe means so many countries are there where that degree will be recognized. So when a student takes admission in any good institution, it is seen that whether it is Abbott accredited or not. So under the umbrella of Abbott, this NBA is established in our country. So NBA has a well-defined system where they go to different colleges, institutions, and check their processes, teaching learning process, not only that, infrastructure and manpower and so many other things. So basically when we talk about outcome-based education, that is OBE. So this term must be told by previous speakers that what is the meaning of OBE. Outcome-based education concept is not new, but it is documented recently, you can say, in the present form. So otherwise, OBE, when we talk about outcome-based education, it is hidden. It is hidden whether we go to schools, whether we go to colleges, it is hidden and not documented. So as a good teacher, when we talk about any teacher in the school or in college, the teacher inherently introduce so many aspects to his or her students, so that overall development of the student should take place. So when we talk about schools, although it is not documented, but in the mind of a teacher, it is always there that how to develop my student in all the aspects, overall development of the student in all the aspects, so that he should be a good technocrat, he should be a good learner. So teacher from his or her subconscious mind uses so many techniques, so many methods that my student should be a good student, my student should be obedient, my student should be good learner, my student should be giving good results, and so on. But once it is documented by somebody, then it becomes a different type of process, you can say. So now, as on date, NBA has documented it. NBA has made a document where it is divided into 10 different criteria. 10 different criteria. So these criteria, you must be aware, some of you must be aware, because there are some teachers from our institution, they are aware about these criteria. There are some teachers who are not from engineering college, they are from schools, so they may not be aware about these criteria. So these criteria are divided into more sections. So each criteria has points, marks. So the evaluation team evaluates these points, and criteria wise they allot some marks. So when we see all these criteria, 10 criteria, they have different weightages. Different speakers will meet you in these days, 6 days, and they will talk on different criteria. So the topic which is given to me, that is faculty information and contributions. This is one criteria out of those 10 criteria, and this criteria basically is focused on faculty contribution. So how faculty contributes towards this process, this NBA process, which is recognized by NBA. Abbott must be given some additional criteria, but NBA has finalized 10 criteria. Out of these 10, this criteria number 5, that is faculty information and contributions. So on those points we will discuss in our session. So how many participants are from the schools? Can I know how many? Good number of from the schools. Okay, so how many of you are from non-engineering colleges, arts college or science college? No.
There is one category.
All are, I assume that all are from engineering colleges and from schools. Okay. So there are some points, because the teachers who have come from engineering colleges, they must be they must be seeking, they must be expecting that something should be told about, some tips should be told, that so that they should be able to strengthen this criteria in respect of their colleges. So like faculty information and contribution criteria, one important aspect in this whole criteria is student-faculty ratio. So this criteria, total criteria is of 200 marks. So it is having maximum weightage. Out of these 200 marks, student-faculty ratio has 20 marks. So student-faculty ratio means how many students are there, how many faculty members are there, so how many teachers are there. So that ratio is one quantitative factor. So what is the ratio? Depending on that, marks are allotted. So as institutions, as organization, or you can say management, you will have to see, you will tell your management that keep this ratio in this range. So what is that range? That range varies from 1:15 to 1:25. 1:15 to 1:25. So if you are in this ratio, then you will get some marks. If you are out of this range, I mean if you are out of 1:25, then it's 0 marks. You cannot get any marks from the team, from accreditation point of view. So this ratio must vary between 1:15 to 1:25. 1:15 is the best ratio, where you will get maximum marks, 20 out of 20. So other proportionally you will get the marks. So this is how we can tell our management, tell our organization that we must maintain this ratio. Okay, so this ratio is very important in this criteria. It means that for a given number of students, you should have sufficient number of teachers. So this is how the number of teachers is important. Number of teachers is important. So in this situation where there are so many colleges, basically this profession is becoming commercial and profit making. So management has to see that how to fulfill this criteria. Then similar criteria is faculty cater ratio. Faculty cater proportion, we can call it proportion also. So it is also dependent on number. How many professors, how many associate professors, how many lecturers, assistant professors. So that cater ratio is important. So you will have to maintain that cater ratio. So to get good marks in cater ratio, this balance has to be maintained. Professor, associate professor, and assistant professors. So then qualification is also a factor. The qualification means how many PhD faculty members are there, how many MTech faculty members are there, and how many BTech faculty members are there. So faculty qualification has important effect on the overall criteria. Then there is faculty retention. Retention means what is the trend of faculty of leaving the institution. One faculty member has served the institution for 20 years. How many faculty members have served the institution for how many years? So that retention is calculated. How many years a particular faculty member is working in the institution, that is retention, and that carries a lot of importance in overall process. So it means that how much satisfaction is there, satisfaction of staff members, faculty members in the institution. So if he or she is satisfied only, then he can retain in the institution. Otherwise he or she will leave. Then there are other factors like competency. Competency means even if a teacher is qualified, he may be getting MA, MSc, Master of Engineering, PhD, so many qualifications are there, but competency is an important factor. Competency consists of further points like specialization. Specialization means what is the specialization of any degree, in which field the teacher is specialized. Another is research contribution. What are the publications of the faculty member? One faculty member may be publishing so many papers, but there are another faculty members who are not publishing the papers, so that is imbalance, and that is having adverse effect. Another is when we talk about competency, another is course developments. Course development means how many courses a faculty member has developed. Course development, you understand. So in your specialized area, if you have developed any course, subject you can say. Development of subject means right from its course outcomes, contents, then books, reference materials, evaluation criteria, and other contents which are beyond the syllabus. So whole document is known as course development. So course development is one important aspect which is very useful for any teacher. So when you develop any course, it means you can own that course and you are master of that course. So if you teach that course, that will be having edge over the others. If you teach the course which you have developed yourselves, it will give a different taste to the students, learners. So course development is one aspect where faculty should focus. So every faculty member should have some experience of developing the course. or you can say designing the course. Designing or development of the course, same thing.
Sir,
Hi.
so this course development, it will be for tier 1 institutions, not for tier 2?
Maybe it is for all. Point is that tier 1 institutions, you have more liberty. You have more liberty. In tier 2 institutions, normally the courses are already defined, already developed. So you will have to follow that. So, okay, but in that also, there's one important point which we call the course content beyond syllabus. So content beyond syllabus, every teacher should have, even if it is a tier 2 institution. Okay, so tier 1, you will have lot of opportunities, lot of liberties that you can develop your course and you can float your course. You can introduce your course even as open electives and department electives. So lot of liberties are there in autonomous institutions and tier 1 system. So course development is very important for tier 1 institutions, but it is almost important in tier 2 institutions also. Because this course development gives you an edge over the others. Your learner, your teacher, student will appreciate if you give some additional topics or some additional points during your teaching. So that will add value, you can say. It will add value to your teaching.
सर,
हाँ जी.
सर एडिशनल टॉपिक्स को क्या फैकल्टी क्लेम कर सकता है एज ए कोर्स डेवलपमेंट?
Additional?
लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल मैं कोई सब्जेक्ट एक्स ले रहा हूँ एंड उसमें मैंने 2 या 3 टॉपिक एक्स्ट्रा कंटेंट बियॉन्ड सिलेबस कवर किया,
हाँ.
तो क्या उन टॉपिक्स के बिहाफ पे हम उनको कोर्स डेवलप में उसको हम क्लेम कर सकते हैं कि एज ए फैकल्टी मैंने ये कोर्स डेवलप किया?
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं कर सकते. कोर्स डेवलपमेंट मीन्स फुल कोर्स. Right from its course outcomes.
आई मीन मेरे को उसमें कोई मार्क्स नहीं मिलने वाले.
हाँ, नहीं मिलने वाला. So this is a disadvantage that you can add value from your own point of view. Otherwise, as a course development, you will have to give full design. Even in some of the courses, teachers develop some case studies also, some question bank you can say, case studies, and even marking scheme. So that's part of the course development. So to claim as a course development, you will have to develop a full course, full subject. So these are some of the points related to faculty competencies. So faculty competency are also defined from one more term which is you can remember, that is program specific criteria, PSC, program specific criteria. So teachers are aware that there are some bodies like American Society of Mechanical Engineers, American Society of Civil Engineers, IEEE. There are such bodies which define PSC, program specific criteria. It means that when you are teaching in a program, when you are involved in a program, what is the specific criteria of that program? So program specific criteria is defined by professional bodies. There are so many professional bodies. Some professional bodies are recognized at international level. So those PSCs are adopted by different universities or different boards. According to that program specific criteria, then competencies are defined. Okay, so whenever you define any PSC, you have to refer that PSC of some body, professional body. Okay, so this a point we must be aware about as a teacher, that to which body we are responding, to which body we are connected. For example, in particular, in case of schools, there are CBSE. CBSE is a body. Similarly, PSCB is a body. There are so many state boards which define this criteria. Similarly, in engineering colleges, we have this IEEE or ASME, ASCE, Institution of Engineers, and so on. So those bodies ultimately revise these criteria from time to time. So new technologies are coming, new subjects are coming, so they revise the criteria, and accordingly we revise the curriculum. So in these days, AICT, which is All India Council of Technical Education, they are developing new curriculums for engineering courses. Similarly, time to time, these bodies are introducing their new criteria, so that students should be taught in a proper way and proper technology. Now, another is innovations which are put forward by the teachers. So here I will give you one exercise, small exercise, which all of you should do. I have few pages, so please circulate these pages. So it needs only 5 minutes from all of you. So I expect that all of you should write your own experience on these 2 points. One is innovativeness, that innovative technique which you are using in your teaching. Second is any method to check the absenteeism and late coming in the class. So all of you are teachers. So these are common points which are applicable to all types of teachers, maybe school teachers, maybe college teachers. So innovative technique, you should write in your own language 1 or 2 lines, or you can write a small para. What technique you are using, and second is what method you use to reduce absenteeism and late coming in the class. So please spend 5 minutes, then we will discuss on these 2 points. please. So we will discuss only one case. Any volunteer who want to share his or her points. Any volunteer, any participant who want to share his or her own points regarding these two aspects. Welcome.
Like sir, in case of innovative teaching, I have mentioned any topic that we are going to deliver in the class, if we are relating with the real life examples, then students receives their remembering power, shall we say in the case of Bloom's level 1, that may be increased. So after all, our concern is whatever we are teaching in the class, that should be remembered to the students so that they could apply in their own life. So my focus is generally whatever the topic I am going to cover, that must be related to somewhere with the real life examples. Like in case if I take the examples of operating system in the case of computer science. So there are a number of topics that I can relate with the real life examples like banker algorithm, priority algorithm, scheduling algorithm. So as per my opinion, I am using generally real life examples for discussing any kind of topic. And as per your second question.
Okay, this is a good point. I think it's applicable in all cases. There are some cases like in mathematics or even in other subjects like chemistry, physics. So for a teacher of these subjects, it is little difficult to correlate the topics with the real life as compared to engineering. In engineering we can correlate it easily, but even so many teachers could not do this. So if it is done, you are right that it is a good practice. It is one of the innovative practices, good innovative practices for delivering good teaching learning practice. So good to listen you about one. There are some other teachers also, other participants who they must have written something. So that we will see, and at the end of course, if time permits, we will discuss about those also. Thank you very much. So about second point, what is your?
In case of second approach to reduce the absenteeism, there are number of ways, but since you have mentioned we have to write any one. So as per my view, we can schedule some surprise assessments. Basically, to enforce this kind of assessment, there are two objectives. First one, students should never know when this assessment is going to happen in the class. So most of the time they will try to present in the class. Second thing, in the class, students will always be attentive, because whatever the topics is going to discuss in the class, might be possible faculty may ask one or two questions from that contents also, that we are going to perform in some kind of surprise assessment. I have think about this.
Surprise test.
Yeah, we can say surprise.
Surprise test in the class. So student may come more in number.
Yes, because they don't know when it is going to happen, and it directly going to affect their internals.
But in these days, students don't care about the internals.
That's why since there are number of other ways, because the main thing is that quality teaching. If we are delivering the good content, with good intention.
In my view, if we expect that student come in time, we should also in time as a teacher.
Of course.
As a teacher, we should be there at exact time. Only then we can further discuss how to reduce this absenteeism and late coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So the purpose of this exercise is to just introspect ourselves. Introspection is very important. So when we talk teaching learning process as a teacher, this introspection is very important, that why student is not coming in the class, why he or she is absent, why he or she is coming late. So on these points, we must think, and we must adopt some methods, techniques, so that this trend should be reduced. If this trend is reduced, it means your teaching learning process will improve. First and foremost issue in teaching learning process is that teacher and student should come in the class at right time, and sufficient time should be there. I mean, if it is 1 hour lecture, out of 1 hour, at least 50 minutes should be spent on the teaching learning, whatever it is. So this was small exercise, and these type of exercises may be designed by teachers also with their students. So here also we are in the form of a class, that I am a teacher, you are behaving as a student. So that's why this exercise I have given you, that please adopt this method with your students also, to give them some questions so that they should apply their mind. So whenever we pen down something, it has a different effect. You give some time, give some exercise, small exercise to the students, so that they should be able to write something. So when we write, when we say, mention any good points or positive points of your personality or limitations of your personality, it's very difficult to write. Okay, so when we write it, then it develops our mind also. So when we write a statement of purpose, SOP, I ask my students that write what you will expect after 5 years from now. After 5 years from now, where you will go? What are you thinking about your career? That after 5 years or 10 years, what is your expectation in the career? So when he or she writes it on paper, it puts pressure on his or her mind. And he writes it in a proper way, in a truthful way. He tries to write it truthful way, and that carries weight. So these are some of the points which we can add in this innovations. When we talk about innovations by faculty, so these type of exercises are very important. So I remember sometimes some teachers use a technique in the class, that if there are 4 rows, or you can say columns, okay, you keep one row reserved for latecomers. Write something on a plate that this row is meant for latecomers. So when a student enters in the class, he feels that he is late, so he will have to sit in that row. And somewhere he will feel that he should not sit in this row every day. So like this, we will have to find some ways so that the student himself or herself should avoid these type of practices. These are bad practices. To come in the class late, that's a bad practice. Some students say that I am just waiting for my friend. He will come, then we will go in the class together. Students normally behave like that. So anyhow, these are some of the points which we correlate with the innovations by faculty in teaching and learning. So this is a part of that teaching environment. One is technical content which we give on the blackboard or in PPT. Another is behavior, practice in the class. Practice behavior of the teacher, behavior of the student also. So there are some personal points like in this classroom, in this row, more students are sitting. In that row, less number of students are sitting. So my personal feeling is that in the class, there should be a balance. Balance means on both the rows, there are 2 rows in this class. So in 2 rows, almost same number of students should be sitting in both the rows. Some teachers feel that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if one row is full and another row may not be full. Doesn't matter. So these are some of the personal issues which different teachers can have. But again, it affects your teaching learning process. Okay, so there are so many such points which you can think you can develop as a teacher to improve the teaching learning process. So anyhow, we will move further. So there are some other points like faculty participation in faculty development programs or trainings. So in a department or in a college, it is expected that all faculty members should attend at least one such program. If you want to be accredited, all teachers should attend at least one such program, maybe training program, maybe faculty development program, maybe any such activity. So only then you will get good marks in the overall evaluation. So this is one point which you can be aware as a team of your college. So research and development, we have already talked that publication should be there. So academic research is evaluated in terms of 2 factors. One is that what is the quality of publications, whether it is SCI publication or it is in a good journal, good citations, then PhD awarded in the institution. How many people have completed PhD? So that is another point. So NBA has given good weightage to this factor, that how many faculty members have published papers. One is number, second is quality. Quality and number both. So number of PhD is another factor. So I think this is again in the favor of faculty members, that whenever they involve in research, academic research, it is the development of not only of the college or institution, but their own developments also. So their personal development is also important, to have good number of publications, to have PhD. So when we are in a teacher, these qualifications are essential. So we must think about improving our qualification. Wherever we are, qualification should be improved. So it is related to one more important aspect as per NBA guidelines, that it is a number game. That if you have sponsored research in the institution or in the department of certain value like 50 lakhs, if it's more than 50 lakhs, you will get maximum marks. So research projects are awarded by some government bodies, some industries. So they give you some award that you do research on this topic and this much grant is given to you. So that grant, if you get total grant, if your department is getting more than 50 lakh, then maximum marks are given. So this is one important criteria in the NBA process. Now there are development activities which are related to faculty development, like product development. So any product, if you develop, it has special weightage. So product means even you write a program, computer science and IT people, there must be some participants who are from CSC IT background. If you develop some product in the form of some software or some program, and that is also considered as a product. If you develop some new material, and that is also a product. If you develop some project like working project, which is given some utility to the masses or to any person. Utility means some useful product which makes the life of a person simple. That's the product. And if you do some contribution in that product, it will give you additional weightage. You will get marks in NBA. As far as your own development is there, like you can get patent of that product. If it is new and innovative, you can get patent of that product also. So another is laboratories, research laboratories. You can develop such laboratories where you can conduct some research. So some experimental setup can be developed. So that is also carrying same value, same weightage, that research laboratory is developed. It is not a high-end research laboratory. It is simple research laboratory to do one experiment and to show it as a you can say proof of concept. Proof of concept means you are thinking about some invention, and if you do small experiment to prove that, that is one research laboratory. It is considered as a research laboratory. So for that, there are some institutions who are giving you funding also, which is called seed grant. So seed grant is given by the institutions to develop some research laboratories. So there are some practices where such laboratories are sponsored by the institutions and even some bodies. Then instructional material also. Instructional material means handouts which you give to your students. So to make this teaching learning process effective, you can make some handouts or some instructional materials. For example, if you are working in a laboratory, you can make instruction sheet that do this experiment. For that you are documenting some instructions, that is instruction material. So instruction material is one of the products which you can get as an NBA, you can get marks in the NBA evaluation. Similarly, working models, charts, monograms, so these are also products. So as a teacher, these are essential things which we should do in our normal teaching. But from NBA point of view, lot of weightage is given to these points. Okay, so as a teacher, we must think about these development activities. So this will add value to our teaching learning, and it will also give weightage in NBA accreditation process. So then another part is related to consultancy. So consultancy, which is financial matter. So you can give some consultancy to industry, to any body. So there are institutions where there are well-defined systems to do this consultancy. So like in our institution, we have well-defined system. People do consultancy, they earn money also, and at the same time, if it is more than 2 lakh in a year, you will get some marks. Similarly, if it is more than 10 lakhs, you will get maximum marks. So NBA gives clear-cut weightage to consultancy, amount of consultancy which a department or a program is doing. So consultancy from industry is given more weightage. Consultancy, normally industry consultancy is very common. So in civil engineering and electrical engineering, even mechanical, there are a lot of opportunities where consultancies are coming from the industry. And in these days, the software consultancy is also very popular. People are earning a lot of money and lot of scope is there. So another points which are related to this NBA criteria, because I am focusing on criteria, so I must mention that they also take care if you have some appraisal system in the institution, which sometimes we call ACR, annual confidential reports. So there is a system where you fill your ACRs. There are well-defined forms, and those forms are filled by the faculty members and staff members, that what they have done in the past 1 year. And on that basis, this ACR, on the basis of ACR or this performance appraisal system, some comments are given by the HODs, section in charges, and then principal and management. So on that basis, NBA recognizes this practice. So they give some marks to the program that they are following some ACR system or performance appraisal system for their staff members or faculty members. So this is one. Another point is, if you are having some visiting faculty in the department, so that is another factor which NBA recognizes. Visiting faculty. So visiting faculty means not regular teacher, any person from industry or from field which you have employed for certain number of hours. So around 50 hours are expected in one semester, and if a person from industry is coming to the institution around 50 hours in a year, the institution will get maximum marks. So this is another point which you can consider to increase your score in this faculty development or faculty contributions criteria. So these are some points which I have mentioned as per NBA criteria. So if we focus on these points, clearly we will get through this criteria and we will get good marks. Out of 200 marks, if we focus on these points, we will get 150 marks, at least 150 marks, and this will give a good contribution to overall NBA accreditation, NBA to the program, which we are following. So, dear friends, I have gone through this criteria, and I hope I have given you some information. It is never ending. There are so many other points which we can discuss, but because there is a time limit, so under that time we will have to talk on these topics. So I thank our organizer, Professor Kamla, that he has given me some time to interact with you. So I appreciate your attention, that you have given patience listening to my talk, and I request you to ask some questions if you have on the basis of this talk. Welcome.
Sir, as a private college, there are a lot of concerns, there are a lot of manipulations that we have to perform for getting the NDA. In ideal cases, if we go about through the manual इट्स ऑल अबाउट द आइडियल केसेस। आइडियल केसेस का हम चले तो सब कुछ हमारे पास है ही है, लेकिन जनरली मोस्ट ऑफ द कॉलेजेस में सर ऐसा नहीं है। तो वहाँ पर हमें लॉट ऑफ मैनिपुलेशंस करने पड़ते हैं, पास्ट में डेटा में करना पड़ता है, या कुछ चीज़ें ऐसी जो हमें पूरा बिगनिंग से सब कुछ मैनिपुलेशन में ही होता है।
नहीं, सब कुछ मैनिपुलेशन से नहीं होता है। Some manipulations may be okay, but you will have to motivate your teachers and staff that all of them should contribute. All of them should contribute. This is one factor. Secondly, your management or principal should be aware that this is a minimum thing which they should have. Minimum. So for that you will have to introspect, you will have to arrange the things. You should not call it manipulation, you should arrange the things. Manipulation is negative. Arrangement, to make arrangement, that is positive thing. So, I don't know what is the exact situation in your institution, but definitely after going through your SAR, you can share your SAR, what we call self-assessment report, to our experts like Professor Kamra, Professor Akshay Girdhar. So they will give you good idea that how to improve it. So I hope that manipulations to some extent may be there, but all manipulations will not work. This is my view.
पकड़ी जाएंगी सर, ज़्यादा करेंगे तो पकड़ी जाएंगी, थोड़ी बहुत माइनर तो चलता है कहीं कहीं।
To some extent it may be possible.
And the evaluators are very witty, उनको सब पता होता है सब चीज़ों का।
But there are a lot of liberties in this overall process. Like first criteria, some person will cover that. First criteria, where they give you marks on vision, mission, your PEOs, POs, COs. How have you written those POs and other things? How have you disseminated? How have you documented? So no manipulation is required there. So you will easily get good marks in that criteria. Similarly, infrastructure. So if you are running an engineering college, you must have laboratories, you must have some basic infrastructure. So if it is reasonable, you will get the good marks. Yes, in contribution of faculty, in student performance, in attainment, there are some issues where you will have to arrange lot of things. Any other point? Thank you very much.
Please take seat. Thank you very much, sir. The criteria of faculty information and contribution was very well presented in a very simple manner. That I think my school teachers friends might have also understood the whole things in very detail. Now I request Dr. Atal and Dr. Darish to please come forward and let us honor ourselves today. नहीं सर ये कश्मीर को है, कानपुर को है सर। एक मिनट। We'll have a short break of 10 minutes. Then we'll start the next meeting.
और करना